What's up, everyone? Again, my name is Dylan Williamson, and today we're going to talk about overcoming trauma. So, in June, I had a very traumatic life experience. I got home from drill, and I went to check on my brother, and I walked in and found him on the floor. He was gone. He took his life. It was very traumatic for me. Fight or flight response came in. It was very surreal. I walk in, I go upstairs, the door's unlocked, I say his name. Instinctively, I go to the kitchen. Not sure why, but I went to the kitchen, and there he was. So immediately, I check his pulse. Nothing. He's cold. And then, okay, so then I call the police. Wait for the ambulance to get there. Police arrive. They ask me to come downstairs. So I come downstairs and I talk to him. Talk to the detective. Called immediate friends and family. Two best friends came over and were there immediately. Some even got there before the police did. That's how fast they were. I'm grateful that I wasn't alone in those moments. So today we're going to talk about overcoming trauma, and this is my input. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. When I talked to some therapists, it was actually just not helpful, because I was asking about what books to read, what things I can be doing, but really, what I was doing was I was trying to just immediately process it and overcome. When you can't do that, trauma takes time. So, for me, traumatic stress, extreme stress, makes everyday life decisions 10 times harder. 2 days after I found him, I had to plan the funeral, and also his landlord was a real jerk, and after the funeral gave me 2 days to get his things out. So I had to do all this within a week's time frame, and so I was on go mode for that whole week. And really what got me through it was my friends. They were there, but also, to me, what I believe got me through it was that I was going to the gym every day still. So I didn't have an appetite, but what made me hungry was going to the gym and actually working out, going for that 2-mile run and getting it in at the gym. When you go to the gym every day, you meet people and you make friends. And generally, gym goers, they care about their well-being, so they care about your well-being. So they see your facial expression, they ask you what's going on, and you can talk to them. So back when I was 25, I had just gotten out of a relationship, and I went to drinking heavily for about a month. And then after that month, I reassessed my life and was like, how do I want to live? Do I want to live like this? Do I want to live like that? So when I was 19, I joined the military, and so I joined the military because I wanted to be in the FBI to go to school, right? So when I was 25 and I was making that assessment in my life, I was like, dang, do I really want to be a drinker while going to the FBI? Nope. So I gave it up. I gave it up for two years so far. So when my brother passed away, I did have a moment of weakness a few times. Now, I didn't get blackout drunk, but I did have a drink here and there. And you know what? It didn't help. Drinking never helps. Um, I'm glad that I made the decision 2 years ago to stop, and I'm glad that I haven't really been drinking since. Like I said, I had a few moments of weaknesses, and like I said in the video yesterday, um, when you make a mistake, you give yourself grace. And that's what I do every day, is give myself grace and tell myself to do better and be better. Um, so trauma leads to vulnerability, and vulnerability leads to drinking and drug abuse, possible suicide. And so how to overcome trauma is to give up your vices. So to me, I believe that when my brother died, a part of me died. So what that means is the life that I wanted to live and am living is in the past and no more, and the life that I'm creating now is from God, right? So what I'm saying is just be better and overcome your vulnerabilities, your vices in the world. So does trauma ever go away? In the beginning, I had night terrors. I couldn't function at work. Like, I was grieving. I would cry all the time. I would talk to people and then go to the bathroom and cry. Um, then also, I was doing security at a drug rehab clinic, dealing with high levels of stress, sometimes risking my life. I got hit by a car once. I got hit in the face. I got my life threatened. When you're working that kind of job and then you're going through this emotional stress, what do? Right? So you take the time. You don't just swallow the hard pill and keep going and act like everything is okay, because everything's not okay. Um, so how did I do it? How have I adapted and overcome trauma? Well, I plan it. I learn my triggers, right? And then I say, hey, I have a mental conversation. I'm like, is this really bothering you? Is this really what's going on? This simple thing, this itty bitty thing, is making you act a certain way? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Let's go. It's not a big deal. Um, so you can't delete the past. You can't delete it. So you can't erase memories. You can try. You can try to compartmentalize, but they'll come back. They'll come back 10 times harder in your dreams. Um, so what do you do when you have that fight or flight response from muscle memory? Um, so like, let's say when I found my brother, it was a Sunday evening, right? So for the past 5 months, on Sundays, what do? Instead of chill at home? I think of productive activities, because my body subconsciously goes back to that moment and it starts to get anxiety and stress for the week. So what do? I plan my budget. I read. I plan my workouts for the week. I hang out with my friends. I go to church. I find positive things to do instead of sit there and think of negative thoughts. Um, so, the big thing on our habits, it takes 30 days to form a habit. So when our body has that stress coming on, you ground yourself and say, hey, this isn't the past. We're not in the past. We're in the moment now. That was 6 months ago. That was a year ago. This isn't anymore. And then you're like, okay, yeah, I'm 27 years old. I'm not 26. You know, um, we don't we don't have to live in the past. So we do have to go back and like own our story, break the story that people told us about ourselves, and then redefine our story in the future, right? So um, that's really how I've overcome my trauma so far. You know, I plan on being 100 years old. What I have overcame today might be a different result tomorrow. You know, so just get to that daily acts. Do everything the same every day. So perfect practice means perfect what? Perfect practice makes perfect performance. So you may not be able to have a perfect day throughout your day, but you can have a perfect morning. You can have a perfect minute. You can have a perfect hour. You can have a perfect moment, right? How do you have that perfect moment? You create it. You acquire what you admire, and you create that perfect moment that you want. You build it. It takes time and time again, day in and day out, the actual grind, but you got this. Stay hard.